being on the air or heard about 54 and contacted you, and they had contacted the University of Rochester. Give me this again, because this is quite disturbing already.
Sure. So this is a colleague and acquaintance of mine, Shannon Joy. She's a well-known podcaster out of Rochester. She's a conservative. And although that doesn't matter, I mean, she just, cares about children not being murdered. And she had heard us speaking yesterday, I believe, about Report 54, about these 61 children who were injected unlawfully in December of 2020, starting in December of 2020. And she contacted me with a recording she made a year before, in April of 2021. So before the EUA, certainly before the EUA for tiny people, certainly before the EUA for babies. And she was responding, she was pretexting, in the sense that my husband, who's a security consultant who pretexts as part of his job, but, like people in intelligence will pretend to be someone else. Well, Project Veritas will pretend to be someone else. So she pretended to be calling the University of Rochester Medical Center in order to enroll her child in this program that they were advertising, in which, and it was in the local media, in which they were offering $900 to $1,000 each to parents to bring their child in to be experimented on with COVID vaccines and in other ways related to COVID. And so she's a reporter, she wanted to get more information. So there's this recording of her calling the person answering the phone, whose name is Dawn, and Shannon is like, I've got a son. Can I bring him in? Is it true you're going to give me $900 or $1,000? How much do parents get paid? And Dawn is like, yeah, it's $900 or $1,000 each. And Shannon, to her credit, said, my son has medical problems. Is that going to rule him out? And Dawn said, no. You can go ahead and bring him in. And then Dawn absolutely appeared to lie to Shannon, and Dawn, representing this program at the University of Rochester Medical Center, said that if something happened to the child in the course of the experiment on the child, all of his medical costs would be covered by the university. And we know that, isn't true. And she also said, then Shannon said, well, are there any side effects? And Dawn said, it's like a flu shot. And so every single thing about it was chilling, but even more chilling is that Dawn told Shannon that the program at Rochester was only 150 children, and that they were just part of a much larger program at trial sites across the country where children were being injected experimentally. Remember, at this point, there was no EUA for 6-month-old babies. I don't think at this point there was an EUA for under 12-year-olds, certainly not under 5-year-olds. And she said that there were about 1,000 children enrolled in this program being injected. And then the other thing and it's still up. Like, I looked at the University of Rochester Medical Center, and the offer is still up for $500 to $900 each. And it actually says it doesn't matter how young your family member is. You can bring your family member in. And the other creepy thing, of course, we tried to enroll, and the other super creepy thing is that it only asks if you're Hispanic or not Hispanic. That's the only question it asks about race. And so I think that what that's set up to do is to attract desperate, immigrants who are trying to feed their kids. And the other unbelievably creepy thing that came out of this recording is that, this is so sad. Shannon also rightly, she did such a good job as an undercover reporter. She rightly asked, well, what's the makeup, of the people who've been calling to try to enroll their children in this program, down to 6-month-old babies, right? For them to be injected with this experimental injection. And Dawn said with some frustration that most of the callers had been suburban white women. In other words, this was April of 2021, the height of the propaganda. Moms and dads were being told, you're exposing your child's going to die if you don't get a COVID shot, but they're not eligible yet. Oh, poor you have to mask them until they're eligible. They can't play with their friends till they're eligible. And so the women who were most propagandized, who were most targeted, who are most kind of embracing of the vaccine religion, were calling desperately, trying to get their tiny children to be injected in this experimental way under a netting of lies by the University of Rochester Medical Center. And to this day, there's an offer of $900 to $1,000 per child, all the way down to 6-month-old babies, to inject them experimentally.
Naomi, we got to bounce, but I want everybody, where's the book right now? I want everybody to get a copy of this and share it or gift it to somebody. And then where do people go to find out more of the work you're doing in the more recent reports and to sign on to put their shoulder to the wheel to push this out?